All right, we are back with another edition of the New York Sports Rapid Rundown, and what a week it has been in New York sports as we are inching closer to Super Bowl 58. But without any New York teams in the big game, the news never stops in the city that never sleeps. Joining me this week on the Rapid Rundown is a good friend of mine who is a sports personality and analyst. She also works as an in-arena host for several teams in the Big Apple area. The wonderful Bianca Peart. Bianca, what's going on?
Nothing much. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm glad to see you here. It's been a while.
It has been a while, and so much has happened in the sports world since, so I'm excited to catch up.
Yeah, listen, something's always happened in the sports world every week. This is why we do this show, and it's always fun. Bianca, we've got some topics to get into this week, as we always do. We're going to find out who you think is going to win the Super Bowl 58, that is, what you're expecting to see from Usher at the halftime show. I'm expecting a lot. I don't know about you. Plus, Jets owner Woody Johnson, he had some strong comments about his franchise. But first, we got some Knicks talk. We got to talk about the New York Knicks. On Thursday, right before the NBA trade deadline, Knicks team president Leon Rose agreed to acquire Alec Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic by swapping out Quentin Grimes, Evan Fournier, Malachi Flynn, Ryan Arcidiacono, 2 second-round picks. What did you make of this trade deadline deal for the Knicks, and did it make them a better team?
Shout out to Leon Rose and the front office, because this is an incredible, incredible trade. I don't know how they weren't able to give away a first-round pick, but this is a great addition for the squad. You know, OG was traded to the team a little bit earlier. It's great now to have Bojan Bogdanovic. You know, I had the pleasure of watching him for a few seasons while he's with the Nets. He's such a sharp shooter. He's very clutch. He has that depth, you know, that allows Jalen Brunson and squad to, you know, pass the talent, if you will. So it's such a huge addition, and they're focused. The Knicks are focused. I think this allows them to be, you know, everyone's saying they're a contender. They've got the pieces. They've got the pieces.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody's saying they're a contender, and I was just talking to somebody about this. Some people are even saying, hey, this is a team that can go to the finals. Are you willing to go that far?
I don't know if I'm willing to go that far. I think, you know, the paint, they need to protect the paint. Like, for example, Embiid, I don't know how it'll shake out in the conference end, but, you know, Mitchell Robinson, we need to make sure he's back and there and able to contain the paint. But if they're able to, you know, show up defensively and in the finals, I mean, it could be possible. I don't know if they can knock out Giannis. Or
Boston.
Another
team might think about. So, okay, so you're not jumping out the window. Some Knicks fans have jumped out the window already, and they're talking about the finals. And you know, I get it. People getting excited. The Knicks have the city excited. That's not a bad thing. Now, also on Thursday, Bianca, the Knicks announced that their previous in-season acquisition, who you just mentioned, OG Anunoby, would be out for at least 3 weeks after undergoing elbow surgery. So I got to ask this: with Julius Randle out already, right? He's got the separated shoulder. And then you get this news as a Knicks fan. How big of a blow is this for New York? Because we saw how well OG Anunoby, who you mentioned, was impacting this team.
It's a blow. It's a blow for sure, but I think that's why those picks are so essential, because they're not relying on OG. You know, you're able to bring Burks in and Bojan in to help spread the floor. So I think, you know, it's unfortunate, but they got to heal now. They got to heal now so that they can show off in the playoffs. That's when it matters. So I think, like, ironically, this timing is okay, because that All-Star break week, like, that's always clutch. So he gets an extra week to recover, both Julius and OG. But as long as they can recuperate for the playoffs, I think they'll make a nice turnaround.
I think that's a great point, because sometimes when you have injuries happen in sports, right, guys? Injuries happen all the time, but when it happens really matters. And this may have come at a good time where the Knicks can get the surgery out the way. You talked about Julius Randle. He has a chance to rest up, hopefully feel better, separated shoulder. I don't know anything about that. Sounds like it's really painful.
Yes.
My director Joe was telling me about when he separated his shoulder, and it sounded bad. Yeah, that's not good. But we hope that they get better. But the Knicks, like I said, Knicks are exciting. Despite the injuries and stuff going on right now, they're exciting. I'm not ready to jump out the window. You're not ready either.
I'm not ready, but it's exciting. Last year they reached the playoffs, finally, you know, made it past this first round. So I think it's just only up from here.
Only up from here. Okay, some positivity from Bianca right there about the New York Knicks. Okay, we got to move on to the New York Jets, the Jets in typical Jets fashion, Bianca. They found a way to make headlines during Super Bowl week, even though they are not playing in the big game. Gangrene owner Woody Johnson. He spoke to the media at NFL Honors on Thursday night, Bianca, and he had some interesting comments. At least I found them interesting. One where he appeared to take a shot at Zach Wilson and or general manager Joe Douglas. Johnson spoke about the quarterbacking situation last year, and he said, we need a backup quarterback. We didn't have one last year. Woo. Zach Wilson was the backup to start the year. I got to ask you this. Do you like the Jets owner making these comments about his team, who had a disappointing season, or was this just the case that he was doing too much here?
Honestly, I think this is one of those situations where you have a family, there's turmoil in the family. You keep that inside the family.
Keep the family business
Yeah,
inside.
yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to spread it out to the extended family, let alone the world. And it is tough. There was high hopes for Aaron Rodgers. Unfortunately, like the first few minutes into the season, it didn't go according to plan. But it's tough. I think a lot of fans resonate with what the owner has shared. But you gotta have backup plans. You gotta be prepared. So you ain't gotta stay. You gotta get ready. So you ain't gotta stay ready.
I agree with that. I always say that. He did make a point of saying that the team needed to improve. I'm kind of getting to that now because he also talked about the need for improvement around the team. And he said, quote, this is it. We have to produce this year. And you talked about having plans, right? Because I feel like there's a question of, okay, or else what? What's going to happen here? He said that he's also not a playoff mandate guy. We have to do a lot better than 7 games, 7 wins that they had last year. So I got to ask you this. This, to me, is the money question. We're talking about all this with Woody Johnson. And this is for the Jets fans and for you, of course. Should Jets fans have any reason to believe that they can do a lot better than 7 wins in 2024?
I mean, the season prior, they won 4 games, now 7 games. I don't know. It's going to be tough. If anything, they can tie at 7 games. Again, it depends on what happens on the offseason. If they're going to build around Aaron Rodgers, knowing that, he could potentially become a liability again, that offensive line. If you have Aaron Rodgers back, okay, now what? Your O-line, you got to protect Aaron, right? The wide receivers. There was a few injuries with the Jets this season too, offensively. So it's a full package. I know quarterbacks are typically the scapegoat when this situation happens, but you got to plan. They haven't been in the playoffs for
13 years, 13 straight years. They have not been in the playoffs, Bianca. It's been a while. It's been some time.
It's been some time, and I know there was like high hopes, high expectations. They overpromised in this situation, underdelivered, given that Aaron Rodgers was not around. But, maybe they can tie at 7 games. I don't know if they can win more.
Yeah, that's not, you're not, you gave some hope to the Knicks fans. You are not giving hope to the Jets fans here, saying that maybe the best they can do is 7. But I do think you bring up some interesting things there, Bianca, and the fact that, and I was talking to Brian Costello, New York Post Jets beat writer, about this, and he was saying that, yes, he echoed what you said, it's going to take more than just Aaron Rodgers coming back. There are issues. They do need to build up that offensive line. He's got a true number 2 wide receiver behind Garrett Wilson. All those things you mentioned are going to be interesting to see, but right now, it sounds to me, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds to me it's like, I need to see it first. In terms of the Jets? Of
course. And it's a tough, they're just the division alone, it's a high caliber division. You're the Dolphins, Boston, Bills. Buffalo, Bills. So they got a lot going on in the division. I think they'll still rank in 4th in the, in the division.
Them behind the Patriots. Ooh.
No, with the new coach. There's a new coach, new energy there. We'll see. Again, it all depends on the offseason, what their plan is, how they're going to position Aaron Rodgers, if he's going to build around him or kind of have that safety net insurance and really invest in the wide receivers and the O-line.
We will see what the Jets do. It'll be an interesting 2024. I'm sure there'll be a lot to talk about with the team. The owner, he's not happy right now. Jets fans, we also know that you are not happy. Okay, Bianca, we're going to keep it with football. We got to talk about Super Bowl 58. It is on Sunday. I think this is a fantastic matchup. We've got the Niners and the Chiefs. Now, I got to let the people know, because Bianca is an Eagles fan. She is a fan of the Eagles. I had to put it out there.
You got to put me on blast.
Yeah, put you on blast.
That's why I wear my Eagles green, little green.
Oh, then you're going to say I put you on blast. You got the green.
You brought it up, so now I got to show off.
Now, look. I understand that the Chiefs broke your heart last year in the previous Super Bowl. It did not go down the way you thought it was going to go down. You might be, I'm not putting words in your mouth, you might be a little bit salty, and that loss could influence your answer to this next question. But I got to ask you, who are you rocking with to win Super Bowl 58? Are you going with the Niners because you have a little hate for the Chiefs, or are you rocking with the Chiefs and not betting against Patrick Mahomes?
Well, Andy Reid has been the coach for the Eagles for many, many, many years.
There's the tie. Okay,
I wish he brought that energy, that he has with the Chiefs to the Eagles, but I have a feeling they're going to win, but I want the 49ers to win. I think they're able to win. Their offense is solid. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. I know, he's not getting that much play, but he's led the team to this point. And I think what's so poignant for the 49ers is their playoff play. In the playoffs, they had a game-winning drive against the Packers, and then they had a huge come-from-behind victory against the Lions, which still crushes my heart, that game for the Lions. But if the 49ers are able to perform at that level in back-to-back games on big stage, win or go home, I really think they have that the tools, their top-ranking offensive team to really, put Chiefs and Mahomes and Andy Reid back in their seat.
Back in their seat. That's a nice way of letting me know, I'm still salty about last year. That's a nice way of saying that. But you know what? I do think it's going to be a good game, and I do think there's something at least to what you're saying about the momentum of the Niners. I'm going with the Chiefs. That's my pick there. I'm going with the Chiefs. I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes, but we will see. We'll talk after that. Now, we can't talk about the Super Bowl without talking about the halftime show. Are you excited for this halftime show?
Of course, Usher. Watch this.
Watch this. There you go. All right, I like it. I feel like that's going to become a clip for you there. We've got Usher performing, like you said. What are your expectations for this performance, and does Usher have the potential to have one of the greatest halftime show performances of all time? Because you know this, Bianca, every time we see a halftime show, sometime after the show, somebody has to say, this was the greatest halftime show performance of all time. Does Usher have the potential to do that here?
I think he has a potential for sure. He's one of the artists who can sing well and dance well. And when you have that combination, like, the sky is the limit. So he is also the type of person where he can put on the show himself. He doesn't need to bring on guests. I would love to see Little John on there, I'm just saying. But he can, he can perform without any guests. And he's able to hold the stage through his talent. And he's also intergenerational, and he's diverse. He has K-pop music, club music, R&B music, love songs, you name it. So he really reaches a wide demographic, different generations. It's going to be nostalgic. It's going to be fun. It's going to be energetic. And it's going to be great. And I really think he'll be like modern day, all-time halftime performer.
Okay. I like that. I like the expectations. I'm excited for it. I'm a huge Usher fan. Got to see him at the Residency a couple years ago in Vegas. That was nice. I'm telling the people, since I've seen him twice perform live, I expect a great show. I'm expecting a great show. I think he'll deliver for sure. Yeah,
it's tough, though. At the Residency, I've heard great things.
Oh,
so
great.
I don't know if he's going to bring his stuff from the Vegas Residency across the street to the stadium. Obviously, he's going to change up the set list, but it's a tough act to follow. But I think he's the one who's able to outshine himself.
Yeah, I think he can do that. It is tough because, it's so condensed in what you're trying to do at the Super Bowl. We'll see. I don't know. I'll be watching. I know you'll be watching, even though we are rooting for different teams to win at Super Bowl 58. We'll see how it all plays out. Okay, bonus topic this week. We've been talking this month. It's Black History Month. Glad to have you here, my sister. And as you and I, we've both worked in sports media and content creation for years. We've known each other for some time. I think that we both have pride about what we do as black people in this space. And I think sometimes, at least speak for myself, it doesn't dawn on me that I personally have created black history or am currently creating black history. So I got to ask you this. As somebody who creates content, you've worked as an in-arena host for several teams here in the area. How do you believe you are creating black history? And then what does that mean to you?
It's tough. When you're in the present, you don't really think about it, but we are creating history. I've had the honor and opportunity to be like the first ever in-arena host at March Madness, at Big Ten football. So to be able to break that barrier and show that representation, I think is so huge and critical. And I think, it's just an honor and privilege because it's difficult in this industry. It's very tough. And you got to work hard. You got to grind hard. And for us as black people, given that the NFL and NBA primarily have black athletes, it's nice to see that representation on the media side, not only media side, but coaches. We're seeing more coaches, front office, more referees, more umpires who are black. So I just love that we're in this season and this energy and aura that we're here, we're owning it, and we believe in ourselves, and we're just keep paving the way.
Yeah, got to. It's so important. I was talking with Justin Walters about that last week, how important it is to continuously paved the way and paved the way forward. And one thing I like to say, I know you and I, when we see each other at different events, we're always proud to see each other. We've been proud to see each other from the beginning, and I think we continue to do this, and this is why I have you here, because you're so great at what you do in the space that you do. I have no idea how you keep up the energy you do when you're doing this in-arena hosting. I'm always amazed by that, but you brought the energy good here today on the New York Sports Rapid Rundown.
Thank you. It's fun, and when you're passionate and love what you do, like, the energy just comes out. It fuses out. As fans, as New York fans, we're very passionate about our team. So it's just the same thing on a different landscape.
There you go. It's great. That right there, this woman is the great Bianca Peart. She does a fantastic job. Check her out around the city. Great content creator, analyst, in-arena host. She does it all. Bianca, thanks for coming. I got to have you back. You got to come again. Maybe next time when you come back, the Eagles would have done better.
Listen, I don't know about that, but I would love to talk about the W, get some women's sports in again. The season's coming up, so we could talk about that.
We will definitely do that. We talk a lot of W up here, so I'm definitely going to have you up here to talk some Liberty hoops. Good to see you, my sister. Thank you for joining me on the Rapid Rundown. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Anytime. See y'all next week.